Namaskar. Do you know that Bhutan is the only country in the world which ranks gross national happiness GNH above GDP? Before I talk more about GNH and how they calculate it, let me give you some more interesting facts about Bhutan. Bhutan offers all of its citizens free education and free healthcare. Villagers get much of their electricity at no cost. And it's a constitutional mandate that at least 60% of the country must retain its natural forest cover for its future generations, against which right now an impressive 71% of the country is forested. Bhutanese love trees. In 2015, the country managed to plant 50,000 new trees in just 1 hour, breaking the world record in the process. In 1999, long before it became fashionable, Bhutan became one of the first countries to partially and now totally ban plastic bags. It's aiming to have 100% organic farming in the coming few years. And most impressively, it's the planet's only carbon negative country, absorbing more CO2 than it emits. And should I tell you something? You may conquer Mount Everest, but you can't conquer the highest mountains of Bhutan. Not because these are so difficult to climb, but because mountaineering, not trekking, mountaineering has been illegal in Bhutan since 2003 for the express reason of preserving the sanctity of summits where the gods live. Long periods of solitary meditation are common in Bhutan. And these aren't that casual an hour or so long before breakfast kind of meditation. Many of these meditators remain confined to some caves or some forest, meditating for long time. At times for a solid 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days of meditation. Because 3333 is some auspicious number there. And during this period, they can have no contact whatsoever with the rest of the world. This all, I'm talking of a country which features among UN's list of least developed countries with a GDP of just $2.8 billion and youth unemployment rate of 9.69% as of 2019. In fact, you'll be surprised, until 1950s, as recent as 1950s, the country was sealed to the outside world. The average life expectancy was just 33 years old. There were only 2 doctors in the entire country, and the GNP per person was just $51. There was no electricity, no telephones, no postal service, no schools, no hospitals, no roads, no cars, no tourists. Of course, things have changed since then, but even today, Bhutan relies on manual traffic management with the help of hand-waving police, and it's perhaps the only country in the world which does not have traffic lights. No prizes for guessing that even today, Bhutan has a population that is highly dependent on agriculture sector. They rely heavily on hydropower as the engine to finance their development. Actually, Bhutan's position between India and China poses economic opportunities as well as challenges. And it has always remained economically dependent on these 2 countries. A local politician of Bhutan once said, if either China or India were to get pneumonia, and cuff towards Bhutan, Bhutan would just perish. To which the government's reply was, first, we are confident that they will not get pneumonia. And secondly, if they get pneumonia, they will not cuff towards Bhutan, but in the other direction. However, despite being such a poor and tiny country, Bhutan has made its presence felt on the world map, primarily because of its introduction and adoption of this unique concept of gross national happiness to measure the collective happiness and well-being of its population. Actually, this philosophy of gross national happiness is rooted in the principles of the country's religion, Buddhism, with its focus on compassion, contentment, and calmness. The concept of gross national happiness (GNH) was promulgated by the fourth king of Bhutan, Jigme Singye Wangchuk, in the early 1970s. And he declared gross national happiness is more important than gross domestic product. He also, by the way, introduced or rather framed the Bhutan's constitution and drove the political reforms that transitioned Bhutan from an absolute monarchy to a parliamentary democracy in 2008. His son and the current king, Jigme Khamsher Namgyal Wangchuk, has energetically embraced his father's philosophy, fine-tuning the GNH index. Over the years, GNH has evolved from a noble aspiration into a more quantifiable tool. In order to calculate GNH index, they administer a questionnaire which has about 300 questions on around 8,000 randomly selected citizens out of the total population of around 8 lakh. In the beginning, the survey took around 9 hours, but now they have refined the questions and it takes about 3 hours. And of course, the participants are compensated a day's wage for sparing their time to fill up the questionnaire. This complex survey, which is conducted every 5 years, runs into 30-page questionnaire and is based upon 4 pillars: good governance, sustainable socio-economic development, preservation and promotion of culture, and environmental conservation, broken down into 9 domains and 33 indicators and 100 more variables. The broad categories include psychological well-being, health, time use, education, culture, good governance, community vitality, ecology, and living standards. Some of the questions which are asked to the participants are like, how often do you recite prayers or meditate? How satisfied are you with the relationship you have with your immediate family members? How many people close to you can you count on if sick or if having some financial problems? How free do you feel to express your ideas and opinions? How much time and money you devote to your community? How many hours you sleep and how many hours you work? How often do you quarrel with your family? How long do you stay away from them? Do you trust your neighbors? And likewise. Now, the findings of this Gross National Happiness Survey, which was conducted in 2015 by Center for Bhutan Studies and GNH Research, showed that 8% of the people are deeply happy, 35% identified as extensively happy, and 47.9% registered as narrowly happy. So if these numbers are anything to go by, Bhutan would actually be a ringing success, with more than 90% considering themselves as happy to one degree or another. But with nearly half of the Bhutanese falling into the narrowly happy camp, that's a sizable chunk who are well short of bliss. And that might mean that Bhutan is just about as content as the rest of us. And mind you, Bhutan is not claiming to have attained the highest level of happiness. But what is important is that they are making the efforts in the right direction of achieving happiness as much as possible for as many of their citizens as possible. In fact, the UN World Happiness Report of 2018 has ranked Bhutan as the 97th happiest country in the world list of 156 countries. But what is important is that United Nations General Assembly has acknowledged the concept and efforts made by Bhutan in this regard and has passed a resolution on this topic. And now some of other countries like UK, France, Netherlands, etc. have also started testing variations of GNH index. Let's hope that the world realizes the importance of happiness as an important metric to be measured and a key macroeconomic objective to be pursued. The sooner, the better. Thank you.